Craig, we'll start by looking back on the victory against Cardiff Met last weekend. Difficult place to go to, Quay, but in the end, a comfortable win.
Yeah, it always is. They're always well organised. They've got some good players, got honest players. Got good coaching staff, and they've always made it hard for ourselves. So obviously as well, it was the last time we got beat there last season. We were 2-0 up, I think, and they come from behind and end up beating us 3-2. So yeah, or could have been 2-1. I'm not quite sure to go back to that one, but yeah, the performance was good. They were obviously low block early on, got behind the ball, tried to frustrate us, but we kept our patience, moved the ball really well, passed it really well, really good movement, and good rotations, and we got in the end. And obviously it was 1-0 at half time, and then we went on and capitalised that in the second half to make it really comfortable.
Well, we are back at Park Hall this weekend. We host Connah's Quay Nomads. It is our final home game of the season, so it goes without saying you'll want to finish on a high in front of our own supporters.
Yes, of course. Every game, want to, and we know, rightly so. Connah's Quay have finished second in the league. They've been the second best team over the season, and they've done really well. And they're a very, very tough team, well organised, got some very good players. And it's going to be a tough game. It always is against them. Obviously, the scoreline probably of the last 3 games probably says different to that, but I think it's probably, the games have been a lot closer than that, and they're a lot better team than that. So we definitely won't be taking things lightly, because we want to finish the season on a high with a victory, and then going into the Welsh Cup final the week after.
Well, you mentioned the scorelines there. We've played Connah's Quay 4 times already this season. We've won all 4, scoring 17 and conceding just 4. Do you think any of those games will have a bearing on this weekend's result?
I think from our psychological point of view, we prove we can beat them. We score goals against them. But I think in a one-off game, which when you're playing against one of your closest rivals, and in Connah's Quay have been for 5-6 years historically, then it's going to be tough. On the day, we've got to make sure we don't take it for granted. We've got, we respect, Connah's Quay on and off the pitch, and we'll show them that respect. But we will be good, doing everything we can to keep our season going and get a victory on the last day of the season.
Well, the league has been won for a number of weeks now, of course, but still a significant milestone riding on the game this weekend. We could become the first side in over 25 years to finish the season invincible.
Yeah, which would be brilliant. Obviously, you don't start the season out thinking about that. It's a little bit like the breaking world records and stuff like that. You look at the start of the season, you go, right, okay, we need to make sure we win the league. The Welsh Cup, League, Challenge Cup, and then we prepare for Europe. So it's almost it's a side benefit of being in such great form, and the players have got to take all the credit for that. Their professionalism and and their will to win and perform every week. We've got 2 more games left, and they just need to keep that going between now and the end of the season, because as much as it might not seem, there's not an awful lot on the game on Saturday. Obviously, we won the league. Connah's Quay finished second. There's pride, there's professionalism, and there's also for us and for Connah's Quay, there's a position in the cup final the week after. Everyone wants to play in the cup final. The Welsh Cup final is a real prestigious event, and we have got a strong squad. There will be, when everyone's fit, players unfortunately left out. So it's an opportunity for the players on Sunday to make sure they're not going to be the ones left out the week after.
It would be a big achievement, of course, to complete 32 games without defeat. So does that almost feel like a trophy in its own right?
Yeah, it doesn't really. Like I said, it's added extra. It's nice. It's not the be all and end all. It's it would be nice. I would certainly prefer to win a trophy than go all season, unbeaten. And but I think what the most impressive thing from the players' point of view is that the games we've played, I think it's 31 games we've played now, and we've only dropped 4 points. So, we've drew 2 of them and obviously won 29. So it's a fantastic achievement from the players. It's just the standard and the, and how the standard they hold themselves to, but it's just really, really important. I can't get it across, strong enough that we keep it going, and we turn up on Sunday and we perform again. And, it's a real one, it's a real challenge to get that. And like I said, they're still playing for places.
We play Connah's Quay this Sunday, then we play Connah's Quay again 7 days later in the JD Welsh Cup final. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to play them so soon before the final?
Yeah, positive and negatives on both behalf. you know, it happened a little bit in the league a few years ago, didn't it, where you played the same team over Christmas and New Year, and it's always a tough one to play the second time, especially when there's nothing riding on the game really. I probably expect Connah's Quay to rotate. I'd expect us to rotate. So, you know, there's probably a little bit more on it for us with the unbeaten record still. We want to keep hold of that, and I'm sure Connah's Quay want to be the ones that take it off us, so we've got to be ready for that. You know, so look, we played them first 2 games of the season, start the season, so it's very apt that we start the season, we're playing Connah's Quay in the Nathaniel Cup, Connah's Quay in the league. We end the season playing Connah's Quay in the league and Connah's Quay in the Welsh Cup final. So yeah, it's what happens. You know, we've 6 times we played each other. So yeah, it is. If you're going to be successful, which we are, and obviously Connah's Quay have done brilliant as well again, then you've got a good opportunity to play each other more than 4 times.
And then just finally, Craig, what's the injury and availability situation looking like? I know Blaine Hudson came off, didn't he, in the Quay on Saturday?
Yeah, really good. It is really good. It's not as bad as what we first thought. So yeah, that's good. We also Ryan Brobbles trained fully, so that's brilliant. The really, JD and Josh Pask are 50-50. And then we've got the longer term ones with Ryan Astles, and then obviously Matthew Sunday as well. Matthews needs injection in his foot. He's unfortunately picked up a really rare injury on the ball of his foot, and he needs injection to settle that down and be probably might be available for next week cup final, might not, but yeah, it's that's where we are at the moment. There's 2 definites for this week that won't be available. That's Ryan Astles and that's Matthew. But apart from that, everyone else could be in the running for getting the squad.